Hold on. Just a moment, my friends. We're coming up.
Heshy Tischler, ваш надежный заступник, отстаивающий интересы Южного Бруклина, сердце 44-го округа. Он стоит на страже закона и порядка, оберегает религиозные свободы и неуступчиво противостоит антисемитизму. Heshy Tischler, ваш голос и защита. Он борется за безопасность, права и процветание вашего сообщества. Поддержите Heshy Tischler на выборах в городской совет. Жители Боро Парк, Мидвуд, Грейвсенд и Флатбуш, примите правильное решение этого 7 ноября. Heshy Tischler, за солидарность и прогресс в 44-м округе.
So, friends, Heshy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Yuri. Thank you for letting me on your show. And as you know, I always thought you a handsome man, so I'm happy to be with you.
Yeah, I think so about you as well. And I think you're a presence. You're a presence. You enter the room, a room lightens up, you create a center of gravity. And a lot of people, I think, know your name in the community. I heard of you many times before. We met on a number of occasions where you showed yourself as a strong, staunch Republican, conservative, Jewish, mensch, all those things in a very attractive, smiling, cheerful package. Heshy. So it's your time to serve now. You serve the community in one capacity, and now you're throwing your hat in the ring, so they say so in the English-speaking world. So your yarmulke is safe, but you are fighting for all of us. You want to go into city council, the snake pit, also known as a snake pit. So what made you go there? Please tell us.
Well, you know, I've been serving this community for 40 years, usually behind the scenes. I help people with their homes, their buildings. We have a soup kitchen that we feed 150 people for the last 10 years, over 200,000 packages that we've delivered for weekends. I've had 21 foster kids. I have people from jail living by me when they come home. Sometimes they have nowhere to live, so I have special apartments for them. I only do it 1 or 2 at a time. I've been working with seniors. I've been helping raise money for different centers, and I have a regular job, and I volunteer in the hospital. Now, I'm not trying to pitch myself to you, but I've been doing it so long. And why have I thrown myself into the snake pit? Simple and plain. And I've done this a few times, and I didn't know the game. I didn't know politicians are constantly lying and cheating and screwing, because I thought you'd be more honorable in the city. I deal with 312 government agencies, helping the Russian community, the Muslim community, the Jewish community, the Black community. I work all over town, and I see how the agencies screw us. Even today, screw us. I go to court for kids that are arrested, or I go to court for people who are homeowners in the Russian community, the Jewish community, and we keep getting screwed with anti-Semitism. I've been helping the Asian community a lot because they've been really tortured lately. And you know what happens? The agencies, the red tape, and they cost these people tens of thousands of dollars. They throw their people out of their homes. I was in court about 4 years ago, when the government assigned me to be a receiver because I was fighting 2 government agencies and I was beating them. And the judge said, you have to work with us. I said, no. But at the end, I took it on to help these tenants. I help landlords. I help tenants. I help people that are fair. I want my clients and people to be my friends. I've been serving this community because I'm going to tell you a story. Can I tell you a story, Yuri?
Anytime, Heshy. That's you.
It's a bad story. It's a bad story, Yuri. Can I tell it?
Yes.
My father died when I was 13 years old, a month after my bar mitzvah. I hope you people understand a bar mitzvah is when you become a man. And I tell this story quite a bit to a lot of younger people. My father died a month after my bar mitzvah, and he sat me down before he died. He says, Heshy, I'm a Holocaust survivor with the numbers on my hands. He was in concentration camp. They killed 7 out of 10 of his family members. 2 of his sisters lived. 1 couldn't have children they operated on. And my father sat me down. I was 60 years old, which I'm now turning 60. He says, Heshy, I'm not going to make it. I want to make it to my bar mitzvah, to your bar mitzvah. I had 2 younger brothers and a Down syndrome sister that's still alive. She's 53 years old, and I take good care of her. That's why I'm very involved with special needs children and special needs programs. Me and Linda even do every Saturday night pizza night for different residential adult housing. And my father sat me down. He says, Heshy, I witnessed this myself. So whatever anybody else tells you, I don't care. In the ghetto of before they went to the concentration camps, they put the Jews in a ghetto. And there were 2 friends. One friend's name was Mr. Friedman. And I'm going to make the story quick. And one name is Mr. Epstein. Mr. Friedman had a beautiful wife daughter, and son. Mr. Epstein had nothing. Mr. Epstein became a capo. He worked with the Germans. One day, Mr. Friedman and Mr. Epstein bumped into each other in the ghetto. Mr. Epstein had 2 German soldiers with him. They started pushing Mr. Friedman around and making fun of him. Mr. Friedman was standing there taking it when one of the Germans took a gun and shot his wife on the street. The next pig Nazi animal shot the daughter, boom, on the street. Right before they were ready to kill the little boy, Mr. Epstein took out his stick and beat his friend. Beat him! Till he lay dead on the street. Right before they were ready to kill the little boy, Mr. Epstein said the Jews are going to riot. Let me take the kid into the woods and kill him. And the Germans laughed, they went away, and they let Mr. Epstein do it. And my father tells me that's the end of the story. Now, part 2 of the story, my father witnessed himself. They made it to New York. Mr. Friedman survived the war. Somehow he barely survived. They picked him up, they made him better, he survived. He came to Borough Park, where I live, my community. And he became a sexton, like a usher in a synagogue. And he helped out, and he got a job, and he had a simple life. And in the 1950s and 60s, we didn't have a synagogue or a church or a mosque on every corner. We had like 10 or 15 here in Borough Park. And we had big crowds, 250 men, 300 women. And on the Sabbath, on the Shabbos that I call it, we invite any guest that come to our synagogue up to the Torah scroll to make a blessing. That particular week, there was a couple of guests. And when they called one of the guest names up, Mr. Friedman, in his head, something clicked. He doesn't know why. As the man walked down the aisle, Mr. Friedman turned white. As the man came up to say the blessing, Mr. Friedman screamed, "Murderer! Murderer!" And the synagogue became quiet. As Mr. Friedman had tears coming down his eyes, "You killed my family, Epstein! You're Epstein! You killed my family!" And he was crying, and the women were crying. And Mr. Epstein grabbed Mr. Friedman, said, "I can't believe you lived, my friend." And as Mr. Friedman cried, he says, "I can't believe you killed me. You beat me and you killed my family." And Mr. Epstein says, "No, you don't understand." He says, "The rabbi of the community told me to become a capo, that maybe I can save somebody. When we bumped into you, they killed your wife and daughter, and you were next. So I beat you. Maybe you lived, maybe not. I grabbed your son and I ran into the woods, and I kept running and running and running." And he points to the back of the synagogue. He says, "That's your son." The synagogue became quiet. And the son ran to the front of the synagogue, and he hugged his father, and the whole synagogue started dancing with a song, Simon Tov Mazel Tov. This is where my father adds on to the story. He says, "I sat there, Heshy, and I witnessed this. And I looked up." He says, "I swear to you, Heshy, I witnessed the angels, the Malachim, dancing with us." I said, "Pop, you didn't." He says, "I swear to you, as a Holocaust survivor, I witnessed them." He says, "The only blessing I'm going to give you, you're going to take over the family, you're 13. I want you to do good. And I want you to have the angels dance and see them as well." All my life, I've been trying to do good. I've gone to jail for the community. I've never cooperated when it wasn't needed, when it has to be done. I've helped abused women. I have apartments. Me and Linda have struggled. We've lost everything a few times fighting the government, and we've been given it all back by God. I am now 60 years old. I've seen what this city has tortured us during COVID, closing our parks, hurting our special needs, closing my stores, my synagogues, my mosques. My son told me, "Pop, you can do anything." All I did was take a bolt cutter and cut open 19 parks. I then told my stores, "Drop dead, let's open them up." I had a fight with then Borough President Eric Adams, and he let me do testing and took my community from red to yellow. I kept 104 wedding open halls during COVID, telling them to jump in the lake and fighting the sheriffs. I'm not an angel. I don't have wings. But if I'm able to fight the city, and I know my Constitution, I walk around with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in my pocket. I fight the police, the courts, the systems, and I teach people to keep their rights, to fight for their rights. Don't let the city take advantage of you. But I can only do it one at a time. During COVID, they raised our taxes by 18%. Not just me, everybody. They're putting in cameras all over to ticket us, not to keep us safe. And you know where the money goes, my dear friends? 25% comes to the city, 50% goes to the contractor, 25% goes to the state. You know, they raised our budget by $20 billion. Where do you think that money's coming from? For migrants? What about my homeless? I have 80,000 homeless people on the street. I take care of homeless girls on the street, but I can only do so much. I fight the city. I fight from the outside. Now it's time to fight from the inside. I've been successful. Now, if I get into City Hall, I understand Heshy, you only won, but I'm pretty good at what I've done, and I'm no special person. I'm able to fight the politicians and fight the agencies and win. Now I'm going to go in and win. I've done tens of thousands of violations. I've helped hundreds of people get into their homes. I've done thousands of inspections. I know every agency, red tape. I've done budgets for people in the millions of dollars. I know what budgeting, some of these people don't know what they're doing. And I know, Yuri, I'm talking too much. Here's my deal.
Okay.
I'm going to see the angels dance. I'm going to help this city. I don't know if I'm going to win all the time, but I'm tired of there's only 51 city councilmen. If I can get at least 10 or 15 on my side, I can stop. So, every month, there's 40 pieces of legislation, 400, 300 pages big. You believe they actually read it? I want to pass a law that they have to read it. They make deals with each other. My competitor, and I'm talking about nobody else, Yuri, my competitor, Carmen Yeager, voted on transgender funding. Who is he to tell me that I have to pay for transgender? I'm not knocking you. You want to be gay, you want to be transgender, you want to do whatever you want to do it. You want to have abortions, but I don't have to pay for it. I don't have to do it. The city's here to help the people survive and run a budget, not to shut us down during COVID, not to force us with vaccines, not to go arrest the President Trump because you feel that he upgraded his thing. He owes no money. He did nothing illegal. We're busy with stupidity when we don't stop crime.
Absolutely.
Do you understand that we had 2,000 shootings, 400 deaths, 400? I had 102 suicides alone in my hospital of young children this year. 102. No mental health, but Mayor de Blasio and his wife stole $1 billion from mental health. Nobody's watching the budget.
Everybody forgot about it already.
What?
Everybody forgot about the money stolen by.
And I'm not going to let you forget about it. And when I get into city council, Yuri, there's a television show on cable TV called the City Council Channel. Very boring. They scratch their nose and tuchus and whatever, and you get bored. You fall asleep after 10 minutes. I want you to get that cable channel when I get elected. You're going to be the #1 show in town, babies. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to tell you what each councilman does. I'm not going to let them get away with it. I'm not going to let them pass stupid legislation every single month to make new laws. They just raised all city fines by double. They shut down more jobs. When you get stopped in a stop work order in your house, they do it in a day. To reopen or unvacate your house could take 6 months and a year. You have inspectors that are working for the city that never worked in construction, never worked in health, never worked in finance, and they sit in their offices. You have 5 government agencies, the DOB, the DOT, the DOF, and HPD, and Department of Sanitation that have 5 commissioners, head commissioners, chiefs, and officers all doing the same thing. But during COVID, they were able to intermingle and do whatever they wanted. Now you're out there. I can save you $4 billion in the budget by teaching you how to combine these agencies. I'm not talking all the little workers. And if you ever go to one of their offices, you sit in the waiting room for an hour while they're playing with their phones and there's nobody else online. And today, this is a waste of our time. And now you're charging me a tax to drive through my city of Manhattan, not going over a bridge, driving in midtown Manhattan. You want to take away our cars. You want us to do greenery. They're forcing us into doing it when they're supposed to manage and let us, we the people, to decide what to do. So why, Yuri, am I running for this stupid snake pit? Because I'm tired of them screwing not only me, but the rest of you. I see the degradation. I see the poverty they're doing. They're making people lose their jobs. Do you know, Yuri, in my community, how many drug centers for 330,000 people there are? 1. How many postpartum depression, and we have a big problem in the Gravesend, Manhattan Beach, women, not only Jewish women. We get $20,000 while other communities get $40 million. We have people that are losing their marriages and families because we can't help them with their mental health. We have Coney Island Hospital, the worst hospital on the planet, really being one of our best psychiatric centers. Maimonides has killed 1,400 people, and I volunteer there. And you know what? I protested. And they do whatever they want. They lost $145 million last year, which the government gave them, and now they bought more property. Their people in charge got raises in the millions, not $100,000 raise, $2 million raise, $1 million bonus. This has to stop. It's coming out of our city budgets. But when you drive down the streets and they're filthy dirty, or when your corners get flooded because they didn't clean our sewer lines, or when the city bills you because there's a broken pipe in the middle that they're supposed to fix, or when we ask you to cut a tree by the parks department, it takes 2 months till it falls on my car and my house. You know that we have to pay for this? There's people driving around just picturing trees. They don't take them down because they break our sewer lines. Too bad on you. These are rules and regulations that are torturing the citizens of the city of New York, 8 million citizens. And I want this to stop. I don't know how. You want me to make promises to you, Yuri? You're not going to get no promises out of me. What you're going to promise you is that I work 18-hour days. I don't sleep. I take calls in the middle of the night. I go visit the jails. I know of some of the people, when they come home, they have nowhere to go. They need help. They can't go to a halfway house when you're 60, 65. They need to file their paperwork to collect their Social Security. How many people have lost some of their Social Security? I had 2 women that came into my office, 2 old sisters, and they lost some kind of tax discount because they didn't fill out the form right. The councilman and assemblyman were too busy. Do you know that I saw them filling up their bottles of water in my sink because they have no water in the house, or something happened, they got it shut off? I just stood there. I didn't know what to say. Me and my son were shocked. We helped them pack their bottles, and they had a good, we wanted to buy them a case, and they said, no, we want to fill it up. And I see this homeless on the street. Me and my wife go on Fridays, and we try to give out $5 in sandwiches. That's all we can give, really. I remember I pack 151 boxes of meals every Thursday night and deliver them Thursday night, Friday to 150 families. And my boxes are not cheap. Challahs, fish, enough for a family of 5 for the weekend. And that's only 150. There's so many other good organizations that help. Yeah. But why? Why isn't the government, when the government gives you food programs, they give you a dirty yogurt and a broken banana? You saw it during COVID, the food they gave away. I was embarrassed in New York City. I don't know, you want me to complain? I'll complain, Yuri. I'll complain about a councilman that sat in office for 6 years that's done nothing. And yes, I know my campaign manager told me to keep my mouth shut. But a man that's divorced and running around with women is not somebody I look up to. You know, when you're running for office, or a rabbi or a doctor or a priest, you have an image. You have to look down and the kids have to see you. You have to be able to behave in a certain manner. No matter what, during those 6 or 8 years, morning to night and on private time, there is no private time. The public life is full time, and I am public life. I go to weddings every night. I go to speaking events. Do you know how many people's houses I've gone to morning events, while they're sitting shiva? Oh, Heshy, you just started doing it because you're running for office. That's not true. I've been doing it for 40 years. I bring food to the people in my community. I've served my community. During COVID, I drove around with eggs and bread and juices that we had extra from our center, the soup kitchen, and I went to my tenants. I said, do you have anything? I know you're locked up. Just take a bread. Just take a water. I don't like Obama. I want you to know I hate Obama. But he had a great line. To serve your country, you don't have to be in the military. It's just to help your man. Help your fellow friend. Go out there and mentor them. Go out there and take them for a week. Invite them to a meal. Go check on your neighbor, see if she needs something for the store. On Shabbos, my wife gets angry at me because I come home from synagogue 2 o'clock, 2:30, and we're running lunch late, or people are waiting for us. On the way home, I stop off at 4 or 5 different people every week for 30 years to visit them, to make sure that they're alive, to make sure that they need something, or to make a blessing for them. I have a widow, a wonderful widow that waits for me. I can't go away for a weekend without asking her permission because she expects me every Shabbos. It's not what I do for the community. I'm going back to the story my father told me. It's a response. You have responsibility. It's not your ability, ladies and gentlemen. It's your responsibility to take care of your children, your family, your friends, your neighbors. And I take it serious. So if you want to come vote for me, fine. You want to vote for some stupid politician? You're right. I'm a street kid. I'm a guy from the street that never wore the suit and tie. I hate the tie. My wife buys this stupid tie for $55 from me. You have to look good. I don't need to look good. I need to be good. I need to be honorable. And you know why I go to the hospital? I don't listen to their stories. I complain about my wife, my children, my foot, my business. I want to make people laugh to forget their problems. I want them to know that I'm more worried about them, that we all have issues. I want them to, even if they only have a minute of peace or a smile, that's what I've been doing. So you want to talk about my track record? Did it start now? I've been doing it in the private sector for 40 years. And I want to go back to my sister who has Down syndrome. My father died. He left me with a 6-year-old Down syndrome girl. He usually dies at 35 years old. My sister is 53 with her own apartment, cleaner than me. She makes fun of me and she tells me she prays for me every day. This girl, Esther, prays for me every day so I don't go to hell. She says, I know you're not good, Heshy. I'm not going to let you go to hell. I pray for you. And this is my sister who has Down syndrome. She goes on the bus. She travels. She has an allowance. She has more money than me, Huey. I don't know how she has more money than me. Esther is smarter than me. I sometimes try to borrow $20. She makes me sign a paper. I swear to God. You're signing a paper. Pay me back. But I want you to know, Huey, this is a community where I have lived in 44th District, but I don't serve the 44th District. I help everybody. I have a special phone where I have councilmen from other districts, assemblymen asking me for favors. I have people that are politicians that ask me to do things behind the scenes which they can't do. They say, Heshy, you can work outside the box. We can't. When I'm in office, I'm going to work outside the box. I don't need the job. I don't need the money. I don't need to be reelected. What I need is 2 good years. Let me show you what I can do. If I can't, don't vote me back.
Heshy, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I want to, before I ask you, I want to say to the people who are listening now and who will be listening it later on, we go live, I remind everybody.
Good.
So there's very little control, not control at all, actually, over our conversation. And I want to say, we are very preoccupied, all of us, beyond our capacity with world problems everywhere in the city here where we live, the center of the universe, New York City, all over to the Middle East and Ukraine and LA and wherever you point your finger at, Brazil, everybody and everything is like on the last, clutching on the last straw, so to speak, psychologically. It's very huge stress on everybody. But we are thinking about world problems. We have very little ability to affect those problems. It all starts here in your community. And when we have a good candidate, we hold on to this candidate and we listen to this person and we vote for him. And he's a Republican. To me, every Republican is welcome. There is no so to speak.
I want to correct you.
Here. Yes.
I had to pick a side, and I agree with the Republican politics. I'm not a Republican. I am a citizen of my community and my city. Now, you're right about your world politics. I have my opinions. I have family members in Israel since 1945. My father did have a nephew that lived. He's still alive at 95. I had people, I have generals and colonels in the Israeli army. I have people there. I have the religious Jews who live, family members. I have modern family members, nephews and nieces. Remember, I built a new family since I'm 13. I have 122 nephews and nieces. Tonight I'm I'm getting engaged another niece. My family has grown. I've taken it seriously. I work with them. I call them. My foster kids, I call them. I work with them. I take calls day and night. You're right. I can't do nothing about the army and the war in Ukraine and Israel. I did raise over $80,000 for vests. I'm trying to do other stuff. My little goodness that I could do are the little things. I wish I can do more. But right now, my problem is here today in my city. So, ladies and gentlemen, you get me elected, I'll get into city council and say something if that's what you want. I don't want. I want to fight for you right here. I want to stop them from raising your property taxes. I want to cut the budget by at least 20%. I know you're sick, Heshy. It's never going to happen. How are you going to get $10 billion off? I told you right off the bat when we started the interview, just by combining 5 government agencies, just the office workers, just some of the inspectors that could intermingle that we've seen that were able to be done during COVID. Sanitation police coming in to arrest you. You're talking health department inspectors giving building violations. It was able to be done. Criminal tickets being issued by Department of Finance inspectors and stuff. So we can cut $4 billion if we concentrate correctly. There's so much. Do you know that we spend almost $1 million on people in an office that decide where plaques get moved around during the year? Are you joking? They're even deciding to take down the George Washington statue somewhere, and I bet you I don't know how much that thinking is going to cost, and where you're going to store it. This is what we do in the city: waste, waste, waste. We don't take care of the essentials of the city.
Absolutely.
We're ticketing, we're fining. You know, hour driving, you see what congestion driving alone. You're too busy giving tickets when you should
What's
have
the
more.
idea with congestion driving? Fill everybody in, because some people do not
Congestion
know.
driving is where in the city it's
Congestion
so bad.
pricing.
The
Yeah.
traffic is so bad, so they're putting cameras in that when you drive, there's no tolls. When you drive from one side of Manhattan to the other side, you're going to pay $23 each way. Besides the regular tolls on the Battery Tunnel, on the Queensboro Bridge, or whatever it is, and the Holland Tunnel and the Lincoln Tunnel. This is just driving from one side of Manhattan to the other. So you have to take a bus. It's not fair. But I'm telling you, in itself, people have driven in traffic like on my avenue to drive on 13th Avenue from 39th Street to 55th Street, 15 blocks. You're talking to take a half hour. Buses park on the street and take away 4,000 parking spots right here in Borough Park and Flatbush. Just imagine Manhattan Beach. And Chaim Deutsch was so good at creating new parking. But how many new spots did he were able to create? 200, 300? I want to create
It's
a
taken
big
by the bike racks now.
right. So you're talking, I want to get those buses off. I want to create municipal parking lots. I want to create, like by the airport, main avenues to have you to be able to park in the lot and take your buses to the shopping so the cars can pass. The trucks sometimes triple park where you can't even move. I want to stop that. And all those ticket agents, instead of giving tickets, move traffic along. How are you going to make up all that money, Heshy? We charge an extra $100 per car. There's enough cars that we can make up that money, but just charging $100, split it. Why should I pay $100 more for my registration? Because you get 1 or 2 tickets a month, that's $200. You're right, some people don't get it, but if we charge more money for our registrations and take a piece of the action on the insurance, we can cover those expenses of the tickets. Have the ticket agents move it along, and we'll still give you tickets. But the point is, there'll be less tickets, and people don't have to rush to put their stupid quarters into meters. And we could have the buses to park in the lots at nighttime instead of parking on the streets and taking up 3 spots by our block. Go park in the lot. During the day, we'll park there. No parking on the streets. And this way, when you go pick up your mother or father or wife from the store, beautiful. You can stop for 5 minutes and pick them up. But it's just unacceptable, the stupidity that this city, they came up with an idea to put machines on the street to park it. It's never going to work, because if one machine fails or it crashes a car, the insurances are too crazy. Just create parking lots. You know what it is to park in Manhattan for an hour? $35, $40 a day, $70. Let's create more parking lots, municipal lots. People are willing to pay. So let's do that. Let's get the congestion that I don't takes me an extra 2 hours from my work to drive around the city of New York, to drive to Queens, to Brooklyn, or Manhattan. My God, it could take you an hour and a half.
Heshy, tell me one thing they came up with that does work. Nothing works. They came up with programs.
They didn't come up with
people.
I've given in 5-point plans how to create better homeless shelters and putting 14 people in a room. Me and my architect created 2 homeless shelters, and I'm working with a non-for-profit to have programs to keep it like a senior center where the homeless want to come back, where they want to live a better life, and not a 60-day time limit. A lot of you parents out there, at 3 o'clock, you have to rush home and pick up your babies. You have to leave your work. And some of our parents have 2 jobs and they can't make it. And you get punished by the schools if you pick up your children late or the bus takes them back. We need aftercare programs that are not privately run, where it costs you an extra $15, $20 an hour. The city of New York does give it out. We need to get people approved to do private babysitting, to do private new places, easier to get those permits, to create, I know what you hear, a lot of these people create these illegal aftercare programs. Let's make them legal. Let's investigate them. Let's clean them up. Let's teach them how to do it correctly, like proper places. They're able to legalize marijuana, which I'm against drugs. I don't care if my people don't like that. I hate drugs. Marijuana leads to worse. You're not able to work. I'm against drugs. You want to smoke pot?
It's already obvious.
But you want to smoke pot? Go ahead. Grow your 2 plants at home and do it. You can do that. I'm not letting you sell it on my street corners. That's one of the first legislations I'm going to fight the mayor and the city on. I'm going to give such a hard time to these stores that they're going to want to go out of business. That's my problem. I hate drugs. I see people dying. I see kids committing suicide. I have 80 girls alone in my neighborhood on the street not going to school because they're smoking and they're able to run away at 16 years old. No, we need to stop that. And you're telling me you can smoke pot and the next day have a regular $100 an hour job or finish your college? Please, who are you talking to? I've been on the street since I'm 13 years old. I'm not an idiot. Yuri, I have ideas and plans because I'm a man of the city. I'm a businessman that has made a profit. I could have made more. Linda tells me, Heshy, you know, the 200,000 packages you gave out, how much money, more money we could have had. I said, Linda, what? So we can sit on the beach and drink pina coladas? Not a bad idea. But no, what am I going to do? What am I going to answer to my God? I am a religious man. I'm sorry that I'm a religious man. I believe in God, that I have to serve my
You
fellow
don't
man.
have to be sorry on this program. Listen.
Well, I just want you to know that I serve my family, I serve my country, and I serve my God. And I love my neighbors of this city no matter what color. Me and my wife took in black children, Muslim children, Spanish children, white children, Jewish kids, religious not kids. We have people living by us house who are abused, who are women that are abused that are black and Jewish. I need to have an answer for myself. And yeah, maybe I will retire and make more money. Is that the goal? So I die with what? Another $1 million or $2 million? A lot of people's dreams and fantasies are to be millionaires and billionaires. That's not my dream. My dream is today is to serve my community and raise my children correctly. So far, so good. I'm willing to go to jail, and I've gone to jail so many times to fight for this community. I fought the sanitation. I fought the mayor. I've been tried to be arrested 10 other times. The police came to me when I did parks. The Mayor de Blasio arrested me in front of my house. Look at me, regular guy. No rioting, no history of violence ever. Do you know that he sent 2 people from the Bronx, because my local police station wouldn't arrest me, 4 detectives, 7 police cars to arrest me, embarrass me in my community? This is what he spent thousands of dollars on. Then the court trial to put me in jail for a year. I was going to fight them. Forget the legal battle that I had to put up. At the end, the police, my friends over here said, Heshy, make a deal. I had to do 14 days community service. I do community service every day. Then the prosecutor was told by the mayor, no, we don't want him to do it in his soup kitchen. We don't want him to do it in a hospital. We want him to go to a gay outlet store and a black church in the middle of a bad neighborhood where they loved me. And I did it. They thought I'd get hurt. One of the days, by the way, Yuri, a Black Lives Matter person followed me home and attacked me in front of my house, wife and grandchild. I fought back. They didn't capture him. One of my local protections, Shamira, found him. And you know what? They let him go. They let him go, Yuri. He went and attacked another Jew. They let him go. On the 3rd time, they finally prosecuted him, and they only gave him 18 months in a federal jail. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, my father was a Palestinian, and it bothered him, and it affected him, and he abused me and affected me. That's your excuse? I stood in the cold with holes in my shoes as a kid. I didn't have a coat. My mother didn't let the heat go on because we had no money growing up. We had to buy day-old bread. I don't know if you know what that is, Yuri. Day-old bread is a little bit cheaper. Back then, pumpernickel bread was cheaper.
I know very well what it is.
Okay, I had pumpernickel bread because it was cheaper, but I love pumpernickel bread. Going out to a restaurant, wow. Having lamb chops once a year, when I buy lamb chops today, it's like a big thing in my house. You're right, I'm doing very well for myself today, but I remember the days of not having a coat. I remember the days when I didn't have money for the bus, or the bus pass came 2 days late and we couldn't get on the city bus. And I had to walk home from Borough Park to Bensonhurst. I'm not complaining about nothing. I'm very happy with my life, and it wasn't that bad. I had a great life, beautiful wife, beautiful children. We've all had our personal issues. I've gone through many, many ups and downs in my life. I know what I'm committed to. I know I have the experience, the knowledge, and the personal touch to make things better. That's it. I want to win this election for other people. I want to win it. Everybody's telling me, Heshy, you keep running, you're running. You know, I'm going to tell you one more story. There was a guy, Avi Weiss, a rabbi, and he was in before the Holocaust, the Germans came into his town of 200 people. You know, in Russia and Poland, they had these little itty-bitty villages. So he had 200 people, husband, wives, 40 kids. Germans came in and said, we're taking over. They don't have phones. They didn't have telegraph. They said to the older boy, one of the older kids, he was like 14 years old, go to the main city and find out what's going on. He goes to the city, speaks to one of the people in the synagogue. The elders say, yeah, the Germans are here. He says, you better run away. They're going to kill your family. He says, tomorrow morning, I have not tomorrow, 3 days from now, the King of England sending a boat for 1,100 children. He made a deal with the Germans that you can leave. He said, if you're here in 3 days, I'll put you on the boat. He runs back to his town. He tells his mother and father what's going on, and he says goodbye to them. They told him to go, that we won't make it, but you could survive. He goes back to the town. He gets on this boat with 1,100 people, and he gets saved. And the King of England came out and said, I want to see all these kids I saved. And he comes out, they line up these 1,100 kids. He comes out and everybody's bowing and clapping. And Avi Weiss runs and jumps on his car. And the guards grab him, the security, and he starts screaming. And the king says, leave him alone. I want to hear what he has to say. Out of that. And the kids start screaming at the king. I thank you that you saved all of us. They're all quiet. What about my parents? What about my parents? And the king said, write down their name and number. Let me see how I can do it. 2 weeks later, his parents were saved and brought over. What's the moral to this story? You sit back and be quiet. Yeah, maybe something good will happen to you. Get up and scream. Get up and shout. Make your voice heard. So yeah, I lost the election. You make fun of me. I lost again. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep screaming. I'm going to make my voice heard. And maybe I can do something good. I got those parks open. I got those schools open. I got those synagogues and mosques and churches open. I did file the court papers and we lost and we lost and we lost. I do run for election and they're scared of me. And they cheat. Yeah, I'm going to be like Trump. They cheated in the election. I won on election day. I won my nomination. Somehow 28 votes popped up afterwards. I don't understand it. I don't understand the game they're playing. I don't play games. I'm a serious player. I'm a man who cares about the people. And I tell my clients, listen to me, and also I want to be your friend. If I can't feel kindness and friendship out of you, I don't want to work with you. And even the government agencies that come after us, I know which inspectors are bad or not, and I have to fight with them. And I will punish them. And I will make changes. I'm going to make them stop torturing my people because we don't have the money. People have to sell their houses, Yuri, at cheaper prices because the city violates them. Listen to me, fines them, charges them like a loan shark at 9 to 24%. Then they get the houses, the liens sold, foreclosed, and they get thrown out of their homes they worked so hard on because they tried to build a little extension that the city took a year. My son is buying a house. For him to move into that house, it's going to be another year. He has to pay a year of mortgage and rent somewhere before he moves in, when it should take a month. It should. I know that's the job I do. But the city just makes us suffer with incompetent people who are not builders, who are not proper contractors. You know, you have regular stupid inspectors that have no idea of plumbing. They're taught how to read a set of plans, and they tell master plumbers. I have a master plumber who's a Russian, Carpathian, whatever. And they tell him after 40 years what to do. And he says, you're wrong. They said, if you don't like it, we're stopping the job. These are guys that have no, I know, I see it, I witness it. I used to do plumbing in 96 through 2004 till I opened my construction company. These are people that torture us with no experience. I had a carpenter that became an experienced guy. He shut down an entire building in Brighton Beach because he said they didn't put some kind of mesh in. We said, what are you talking about? You have no idea. Well, I know how to read plans. I said, you're not here. We passed inspection. We passed plan examination. The city gave us approval. You're here just to check if we're following the rules. You're not here to change the rules. Some of these guys who make $65,000 or $95,000 a year from the city, they have power, and that's all they want. They want their pension. And that's it. That's all their life is about. So they don't care about us. Their job is to care about us. The fireman's job is to care about us. You know why I love the police officers? Because a lot of them do care. They see the struggling, the strife, and all that negative thing on the street. But sometimes they're given laws and codes that they have to follow, and they arrest us and make us go through a system. And then we have a record on our hand because of some stupid argument or something stupid. You're right, bad people have to go to jail with stupidity or a driving ticket. Or, you know, do you know, Yuri, the cameras, if you get 5 or 6 tickets on the camera now, they're going to suspend your license on new legislation is passing. Nobody knows about it. Do you know if you get into an accident after you get those 5 or 6 cameras, even though your kid drove it one time, your husband drove it, and you know, Yuri, Ocean Parkway has 30 cameras. If you go 7 miles over the limit, I'm not talking 60 miles an hour, 37 miles an hour, when Ocean Parkway, since I grew up, was always 35 miles an hour. Now they lowered it to 25, which is impossible to drive 25. Did you ever try?
It's 11 actually, because they have the 10 mile an hour.
Whatever it is, it's still 37. It's crazy, and it's not normal. And I want, no, you're wrong. I got a ticket for 31 miles an hour. And now they're allowing people to take pictures of you when you're at a no standing sign or idling your car. And you know what you end up getting? You end up getting a ticket, a $50 ticket. You're able to have people rat on you and they get 25% of it. This is not a city that allows that. I have one building that has 522 complaints. Do you know why? Because one of the neighbors is fighting with the other neighbor. So the building is so busy, they see that the complaints are frivolous. We recently got a violation because they couldn't give us a violation. So the fire marshals came in and said, oh, you have a toy in the hallway. I said, well, move it. Well, too late. I said, we're never going to let you in the building again. And the Fourth Amendment, just for your knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, says no matter what, they can't come in, show you a badge, unless they have a warrant. And the warrant has to be dated, and they have to bring police. Guys, know your rights. Just because they show you bad and when they're nice to you, let me come in and help you. Do not let an inspector in. Just like you have a driving ticket, you hire a lawyer. Just like you have a criminal ticket, don't represent yourself. If you have a building violation, you have a health department violation, hire an expert. It's going to cost you money, but the time you save, the points you save, your life you save is worth it. I know it's foolish, but that's what I tell the people. And I'm there to fight for the people. I do a lot of pro bono work as well. My partner's angry at me because I do 2 hours a day constituent service. I'm not an elected official. But I feel that is my give back to the community that has supported me, my children, my wife. And I want to thank all of you out there that always smiles with me, that pats me on the back and says, thank you, Heshy. There's nothing to thank me for. I do what I'm supposed to do like you. And I'm hoping that I've done the right thing. But yeah, I do like the pat on the back once in a while, Yuri. It makes me feel good that somebody does recognize me. I'm not a celebrity. They say I'm a celebrity because of my TikTok and YouTube. I let you know what's going on. I tell you the truth. And I thank you for playing my commercial. I think I look nice.
I'll play it once again.
You better.
Commercial, Heshy.
I paid a lot of money for that.
I only have 18 more questions. We won't fit
That's it. I love you.
We'll have to meet again. I want you to just give us some geography where your electorate lives.
My people are. Who you can vote for me is Borough Park from 10th Avenue all the way to McDonald Avenue, and then from McDonald Avenue to some streets on East 17th Street, from 42nd Street to 62nd Street in Borough Park, and Flatbush from Avenue J to like Avenue W, and then from West 1st Street to like West 5th Street in the Gravesend area. So it's Borough Park, Flatbush, part of MIDWOOD, and very little of the Sheepshead Bay, Manhattan, Mill, that's it, of area. That's my district. Now, anybody can donate for me from the city of New York up to $175 to heshytischler.com. You can donate. You can send me money. You don't have to send me $175, $10. I did raise a lot of money. My clients love me. My friends love me. I do good. They know I'm honorable, and they know that my treasurer has run my account, not like some other accounts that have cheated or stolen or taken for themselves. We ran a serious.
We'll talk about it next time.
Yes.
Let's not dilute the message. It's a good introduction. We are all in awe at your energy. I must tell you that we have a stream here of the comments for the show that we have. It's unscheduled show. So it frankly doesn't matter because those who are subscribers, they come and see and listen. And a lot of people like what we do here. So people, please like, share, subscribe. We have some reserves for a lot of people are watching, and we can have more subscribers, can use them to improve the algorithm, as they say. But nevertheless, it's a little something, for our hearts to being poured out and get something back. But what I want to say, there's a lot of hearts sent to you, a lot of Israeli flags sent to you, American flags sent to you, a lot of this sent to you, our favorite president's favorite gesture.
Mine too. Mine too.
That's how we want it. That's how we love it. And also, Tatiana wrote here, Yuri, please pass it to this councilman, future councilman, I correct? I am taking my hat off for him. He's going to do great. His passion going to drive him to the top.
Thank you.
That's how people look at it.
Thank you, Tatiana. I appreciate it. I thank you so much. And thank all of your listeners for putting up a little bit of me and your time. And I hope I didn't waste it. And if you ever need to call me, my campaign always forwards my calls. I always reply to emails. I always reply to WhatsApps. It might take me a little bit of time, but I'm always there. And I'm on all the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you have there. And I try my best. And of course, I have a show. Don't forget my show, Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, Just Enough Heshy Show. You can always hear me scream, rant, and rave on YouTube, Facebook. By the way, I'm on channel 620 a.m. I don't know, all the channels. But you can watch me and listen to me for real, where I'm more calmer, and I tell you the situation of the week. And yes, I complain about all the politicians because I could do better. Or when they need my help, they call me. But I'm going to be quiet now, Yuri, because I spoke a lot and you promised to buy me a sandwich.
Okay. All right, everybody, thank you so much for putting up with us. Heshy, I'm happy to have you here today, and sometime in the future we meet again, because when do we have the elections? Tell me.
November 7th. Please tell your friends from the other communities to come out. And if you can volunteer for me for the day on November 7th, just to come to poll sites, help me out. I would appreciate it. If you want to come in before and make phone calls for me, that would be great in my office in Borough Park. But if you can just come out on election day, my campaign manager would love me. He wants people. So if you could just come out and come to the poll sites a half a day, we'll assign you on Sunday, November the 5th. We have a meeting in my office at 5318 16th Avenue. And we need people just to wear the Heshy Tischler shirt and cap, which doesn't cost you money. Stand at a poll site and hand my cards out. Yes, from morning to night. I want you to tell those people to vote for me. But if you want to come, you come. If not now, we could use anybody's help. And I'm not ashamed to take it. And I thank you again. November 7th, get your friends in my community to vote for me. And if you can come help me on November 7th, I'd appreciate it.
Heshy, in times like this, look at the streets, look at the news. We need people like you in the city council.
Thank you, Yuri. Thank you.
Your energy is very needed.
Thank you.
Everybody, see you later all.
See you later.
Знакомьтесь, Хеши Тишлер, ваш надежный заступник, отстаивающий интересы Южного Бруклина, сердце 44-го округа. Он стоит на страже закона и порядка, оберегает религиозные свободы и неуступчиво противостоит антисемитизму. Хеши Тишлер, ваш голос и защита. Он борется за безопасность, права и процветание вашего сообщества. Поддержите Хеши Тишлера на выборах в городской совет. Жители Боро Парк, MIDWOOD, GRAVESEND и FLATBUSH. Примите правильное решение этого 7 ноября. Хеши Тишлер. За солидарность и прогресс в 44-м